MMAOddsBreaker. Today we got Will Brooks getting ready to fight Dave Jansen up here in Bellator 136. I've already interviewed Dave. Usually I interview you first, not because I get to you first, just because of scheduling, how it worked out.
Yeah.
Dave said he's going to knock you out. Let's just start with that. He said that's what he's going to do. He's like, you're very
When's
predictable. It's very easy to see where you're going to go, what you're going to do. You're going to be really aggressive, and you're basically going to run into a bunch of his punches.
okay? All right. I mean, look at Dave Jansen's record and how many knockouts does Dave Jansen have on his record?
I think I was 20 wins. He's got either one or two knockouts.
One or two knockouts
Out of 20
and
wins.
20 wins.
Yeah.
One or two knockouts and 20 wins. Majority of his wins are by decision.
Either decision or submission, yeah.
Yeah, Dave Jansen couldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. He couldn't bust a grape if he wanted to. Let's just be serious. The timing has passed for Dave Jansen. For his breed of fighter, the time has passed for those type of guys. He's very slow, very basic skill level, not evolved enough. Is very telegraphed. He's an old school type of guy. No, like nothing negative about that, but you can clearly see in the sport everybody's evolving. There's different types of fighters now. We're different breeds. We're athletes on top of knowing what we're doing as far as the skills go, and he's just trying to come up. He's trying to do something that he's not used to. Try to, I guess, maybe motivate himself or maybe like promote this fight and do something different than what he's used to. Because typically he's just a quiet guy that doesn't say very much. But listen, I've seen a lot of his fights and I've looked at his record and 2 knockouts in 20-something fights. That does not bode well for him.
Well, one of the things he said too is that your sole loss is the Saad Awad, who's also fighting on the card a little bit earlier in the night than you, and he said that he's going to be, that's going to be weighing in your mind because the one time you got knocked out was the Saad. You're going to watch that fight, obviously, backstage before you go in and fight, and then you'll be running into Dave, and you're going to expect Dave to be a grappler, which isn't going to happen. He's going to stand up and trade with you. So, I mean, is there some validity to that where you've been in the locker room before with other guys that have had losses to guys around the card? I mean, we saw it just recently where 2 brothers fought on a promotionals card, and the one brother got beat earlier in the night, and it weighed on the champ fighting later in the night. Like, it weighs on you, especially, of course, those are 2 brothers, but you've been there watching somebody that you've fought somebody that's been there, that's lost to somebody else on the card, and be like, wow, that guy just knocked that guy out. Maybe I'm gonna get knocked out again, kind of thing. Is there some validity to that kind of concept of, hey, there is some mental game being put in this game?
Frank, if that was the case, I wouldn't be sitting here as the Bellator lightweight champion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's be serious about it. I mean, I think a lot of guys they say things, but they don't really think about them. Like, don't really think in depth. They don't look at the layers to it. If this was the case, I wouldn't have went on a 5-fight winning streak after losing to Saad Awad, who, again, I'm going to address this really quick, who went from knocking me out, and I give him credit for that. He got me. He finished me. Went on to do nothing but fight on preliminary cards and complain about the fact that Bellator won't put him on the main card. Let's just get that out of the way now. I think a lot of these guys are just reaching for different things. They're looking to say some different things to maybe kind of add some type of fire to this fight or make it a bigger event than what it is, And I dig it. I get it. We got to sell tickets. We got to sell the fight. But don't oversell yourself, Don't oversell it to manipulate yourself into believing something that's just not real, That idea of this guy who knocked me out is fighting on the same card as me. I'm so scared this is going to be in my mind. Are you kidding me right now? That is...
Well, let's not forget, too, that you also avenged that loss by beating him in a decision. And let's not forget that since you guys fought the first time, February 28th of 2013, which is now over 2 years ago, you fought 6 times. He's fought 5 times.
Right,
He's lost to Dave Rickles, beat Stapleton, lost to you, beat Joe Duarte, beat Cesar Rios, but still on prelim cards for a reason.
Yeah.
Because he's winning he got Duarte by TKO, and he won by a submission over Stapleton, but both those guys they're not super strong guys. They're not really high-ranked guys. The high-ranked guys he fought after he fought you were Rickles and yourself again, and those are his 2 losses. And so it's like, there's no reason for him to be jumped up and be moved in. Now, with that being said, will you think about it watching backstage? Did he knock you out? Yeah, that's the guy that knocked me out. But I'm still the champ. I still have the belt.
There's not a day that has gone by that I haven't thought about that loss. But again, I look at that as I have a clear understanding of what happened in that fight. I have a clear understanding of what happened leading up to that fight. I don't hide from that fight. It was 2 years ago. I haven't hid from it once. I've posted things online showing people that, listen, I've been finished. This is what happened. This is what happens when you rise up, though. When you fall, you have to stand up and continue to push forward, and that's what I've done. And now I'm sitting here, the Bellator lightweight champion, and these guys, of course, I'm sitting on a throne, so they're going to come after the throne. They have to come after the crown. So whatever it takes from mental, whatever they feel like they got to do, when you feel like you can't beat a guy physically, you got to attack him mentally. But the difference is how do you beat a guy that's always evolving mentally and physically? There's no way to beat me right now. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I know what I have in store for me. I know I've got a target on my back, and I'm mentally preparing myself for that. I'm physically preparing myself for that. So Dave Jansen, I believe he's trying to manipulate himself into believing that he has a chance to beat me. He has an opportunity to beat me. I've watched a lot of his fights, and he doesn't possess the power to knock someone out in 20-something fights. He only has 2 knockouts. Now you have to go back and also look at the guys that he's fighting also. He's not fighting guys like me who possess a mental willpower that is just going to be there every single second of that fight, and athleticism that's going to be on top of that to the point where if you swing and you miss, you're going to be in trouble. So you have to deal with that in a fight, the mental and physical. So I'm not worried about Dave Jansen. His time has passed. He probably had a better chance when Michael Chandler was still a champion, but let's not get into that.
The only knock really on your record thus far, other than the loss, everyone's going to jump on your losses, but earlier in your career, you TKO'd submission, TKO, decision, TKO, decision. Then you get to the Saitawad loss, it's your first loss. Yeah. Then it's TKO, decision, TKO. So now obviously you TKO Chandler, and everyone stand up giving you big props for that TKO Chandler. But I didn't stand up as much and cheer as much because I said, look, it's a guy that wins a split decision against the champ, then goes back and has to refight him again right away, and it happens. That's what happens. Guys figure each other out. It's the second time you're fighting a guy, especially back to back. It's actually a harder fight at the same time it's an easier fight. You know what you're getting into. You know what you're going to see. You know what's going to happen. But that guy knows you better too. So it's that same game. So
true. Yeah.
What happened besides the TKO with Chandler the second time? Take that one out. What's been going on that's been causing you to go? Because you haven't changed your style. You're still just as explosive. You're still just as evolved. You're getting better every time that you fight. But you went from submission to submission to submission, all of a sudden a bunch of decisions in a row. Is it the talent has increased? Are the fighters better? Are you fighting more cautious? Like, what's happening? Why are you going to decisions now?
To be honest, I personally believe that it is one of those things where the talent has changed. I think I fought a few guys that are really guys that are able to take a lot of damage and still be there, and I've taken what has been put in front of me, me and my coaches and my coaching staff, and we sit at the gym, we put together game plans, and we do what we have to do. We feel like we have to do to win fights, and I believe I've been devastating in these fights, they're not just decision fights. A lot of the guys that I fought are walking out of there having to get stitched up and having to get eyes closed, and I'm drawing blood. I'm taking every opportunity I possibly can to try to put a guy out. Now, am I being overly aggressive or being overly greedy? No, I'm not, because I understand that we still have to win this fight. Yes, I am trying to look for opportunities to put a guy out, but at the same time, if I rip your face open with an elbow or rip your eye open with a knee and you have to go get stitches or some type of plastic surgery to fix that, I feel like that's just as good as a knockout, like showing a complete dominance of a person from the mental standpoint to the physical standpoint, for me personally feels like a lot more dominating than a knockout, because when you have a knockout, you have these openings for people to say, oh, well, was that a fluke knockout or was it this or that? You have all these different openings, but at the same time, like, people are excited by that. They are excited by that, but people are also excited by seeing somebody just flat out get dominated and get ripped open with an elbow, get split open, get like bloody, you know. And that's what I'd look to do. At the end of the day, I remember who I am. At the core, I am a wrestler. So at my core, mentally, I look for ground and pound. Am I a knockout artist? I've never lied to anybody and said that I'm a knockout artist. Do I believe that I have that ability to evolve into a guy that can knock guys out? I do, because I have the speed, I have the power, I have the athleticism to confuse a guy, upset a guy, frustrate a guy in the fight, and then make him run into something. But, you know, this is a process that I'm taking. You know, I'm not trying to get out here and have a short career because I want to get into firefights with guys and hopefully, you know, get into this 50-50 situation where I might knock you out, you might knock me out. That's not who I am. You know, I'm trying to make my career as long as I possibly can make it, and I've done the right things to do that. You know, when I was younger, I think I wasn't fighting guys that was that good. You know, I was beating a lot of guys up and forced them to give me a submission. I forced them to look for the way out, and I was taking it. As I got a little older and I started fighting better guys, when I was beating them up, waiting for them to give me the way to put them out, they didn't give one. They didn't offer one, you know. So I just took what was put on the table. But again, there's steps being played out here, and I've got a roadmap to what I want to do, and I'm following that roadmap, and I'm doing a pretty good job at it.
Are you going to completely dominate Dave Jansen? Is this going to be one of those, you know, cut him up and put him home, he's going to have to go to the hospital after the fight? Or is this going to be a finishing fight?
I'm definitely going to try to finish him. I really believe that I have the skills and ability.
Everybody tries to finish every time they get in there. I'm definitely going to try to finish him. Everyone's going to try to finish each other. That's the name of the game of the fight. Each of us is going to try to finish each other. Yeah. What's the reality? Give me the reality of what's going to happen in this fight.
The reality is this. Dave Jansen is going to realize that he's old. Like, he's old news. He's going to realize that this is different. This is too much for him. And I'm going to go out there and finish him. I'm going to put him in that position where he's going to get over-aggressive and he's going to get frustrated and he's going to get back into his old Dave Jansen, Ricardo Lamas fight where he's just walking, running into shots, running into punches. Only difference is he's fighting a guy that is a whole different animal than an older Ricardo Lamas. Not age-wise, but the old fighter that he was during that time, you know. He's fighting somebody different, and if he believes that he's going to come out here and be aggressive, then I'm definitely going to knock him out. He's going to make my job very easy. If he believes that he has the skill set to actually come and approach me in an aggressive manner and not recognize that I feel like I'm one of the more athletic guys in this sport, and if you give me the opening, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to make you pay for it, and he's going to come rushing me and be aggressive, and I'm going to put a right hand on him. I'm going to put him out. I've said this repeatedly. I'm building up for something, and I've stayed consistent to that. Now I'm pushing over into the let's get greedy, let's get ugly, and start knocking dudes out. That's where I'm at. I realized that my skill set wasn't that high. I was just relying on being an athlete and taking guys down and ground and pounding. Now I'm focused on my striking. I'm putting things together in the gym, and now my coaches are giving me the green light to go out there and put it all out there, not just focus on let's take a guy down, grind him out, smash his face, do these things. Let's knock some guys out, and that's where we're at right now. And now I'm about to take the lid off this thing.
Beautiful. Well, that's great. Thanks for coming on here, man. I really appreciate it. This is one of those fights. To me, it's really going to be, can Dave Jansen enforce an old school style of slowing it down, dragging it out, or are you going to be able to be the new breed and beat the crap out of him? For me, I don't see it.
Like, he could try that, but again, I don't think guys recognize that there's a mental evolution that takes place in this sport also. And along with my physical, along with what I did with the Chandler fight, that wasn't just a physical thing, that was a mental thing. That was a mental understanding of who I am as a person. Dave Jansen is one of those guys that just doesn't possess that ability to see outside of the cage, outside of the physical. He doesn't see the mental. He doesn't understand that, and he's about to find out April 10th.
That's Will Brooks getting ready to fight Dave Jansen. Bellator 136, April 10th in Irvine, California. Thanks, Will. I appreciate it, buddy. Have a great rest of your training camp. We'll talk to you soon,
bud. Thank you, man. All right, right on, man. Take care.